Good morning, Kelly.
Hi, Janice. How are you?
I'm doing well. And I want to welcome everybody to LifeTalk with Janice and Kelly. And this session or this recording is Kelly sharing some more about what she shares with most, if not all, of her clients. So what are we talking about here today, Kelly?
Well, I have a couple. And I think I'm going to go with this one because it will piggyback on the other two that we did. And if you haven't watched those, go back. We talk about no one's behaviors are about you. And then Janice talked about the voices, the critical voice and the child voice that we have. And so this sounds simplistic. And each year, I feel like I get a word
Mm-hmm.
ending of the year. And so a couple of years ago, this was the word I got. And the word was choose or decide, meaning the same thing, choose, decide. And so I know that seems simplistic and it seems impossible, but the truth is we get to choose everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I will share with you how this makes sense in my brain. Doesn't mean it makes sense to anyone else, but it makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
Because we've talked about our brain being dysregulated or regulated.
Mm-hmm.
When our brain is dysregulated and we are reactive, those triggers are automatic. We don't have the ability to not do them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we just do. I mean, they're just there. We don't have a choice. When we do our healing work and heal those triggers, then we have the ability to respond to situations instead of react to them.
Mm-hmm.
Again, like I said, our brain has it's dysregulated and reactive or regulated and responsive.
Right.
And we have zero control over anything that happens outside of ourselves. We really don't. If you really just kind of sit, I sit and I ponder things a lot, and I kind of
Yes.
do a deep dive because I really want to make sense of this. And I certainly do that before I ever say anything to a client. But you really don't. You have zero control over anything in your environment. The only thing we have control over is ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And what we have control over is whether we react or respond to situations.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And when we have done our healing work, it gives us the ability to choose what we're going to do in a situation.
Okay.
And so the way I see this is I am powerless out here. If I'm driving down the road, I'm in control of my car, but I'm not in control of anyone else on the road, right? So I
Right.
don't get to choose their behaviors. I can choose my own.
Right.
And again, the way I see this, because I lived part of my life in a dysregulated state,
Mm-hmm.
and I felt out of control
Mm-hmm.
and didn't feel like I had any ability to choose anything.
Mm-hmm.
But now that I live my life in a regulated place, I get to choose everything. And I choose whether I react or respond to situations. And because I have that ability to choose what I'm doing, I'm all powerful. Uh, what do you think? No, see, because when a situation happens, I get to choose to react to it or respond to it. I don't automatically react.
Yes, I'm buying it. I'm just grinning because he, I'm wondering what that client who comes in and sits on, figuratively the couch And you tell that anxious person they have no control out here, whether they buy it or not.
I certainly don't tell them at the beginning of therapy.
No.
We do some healing work and show them first, and them gain some regulation before
Prove
they
it.
get to that place. We prove it. Yeah, absolutely. But and this could be all in my own mind. I don't know. But because I get to choose how I react to situations or respond to them, and because I choose responding, because no one's behavior or nothing is about me but me,
Mhm.
I'm all powerful in my own life.
In your own life.
In
Yes,
my own life. And that's all we have anyway.
that's
You
right.
know, I'm not trying to be powerful anywhere else. I'm trying to be powerful in my own decision making.
Okay.
So kind of, how is that percolating to you?
Well, I agree with you. I mean, it's like at this point, you're preaching to the choir. But what I'm thinking of is those people that often come in and want me to tell them how to get someone else to do what they want them to do.
Right. And we have
So,
zero power over anyone else's behaviors.
mhm,
Or I had a particular client who, and I'm going to use this word, and I don't know how fair this is, but getting up every day, let me do it this way. We get up every day and we can look at all the things negative in our life, or we can look at all the things positive in our life. Which do you choose to do? Which do you choose? Because like we've talked about in previous videos, just because we focus on one doesn't mean the other goes away. If you only focus on the positive, it doesn't mean the negative's not there. It's just where you're putting your energy.
that's right. Mhm.
And if you've done healing work and you get up every day and you go, oh, I want to look at all the negative things in my life, you're choosing that.
I agree. I agree.
And so you get to choose, you get to decide. So what are you going to decide?
Yes. So I can decide before I get out of bed that morning what kind of day I'm going to have.
100%. And there's research, and there plenty of research to support that.
Mhm.
And if you want me to go into kind of like the vagus nerve, is that we have receptor sites in our gut,
Mhm.
and it's called a superhighway. So 90% of information comes from our gut to our brain.
Right.
We have those receptor sites. Well, if you're laying in bed, you first wake up and you go, oh, I don't feel very good. I think I'm anxious, or I'm stressed.
Mhm.
Your body has those receptor sites, and it creates a peptide,
Mhm.
and your body becomes addicted to those chemicals,
Mhm.
and so those receptor sites say, I want that, I want that. And so then it sends that information to the brain, and the brain goes, oh, I'm feeling anxious, I need to think things that make me anxious.
Mhm.
And so it makes a neuropeptide and sends it to the gut. And the gut goes, oh, there's that situation that makes me feel anxious. I need to feel more anxious. So you've got
Mhm.
that negative feedback loop of think more, feel more, think more, feel more. But if you woke up in the morning, and I've done this, those things I have to do or situations, and I've gotten out of bed and go, oh, I don't, something negative feeling. I go, no, I'm not. I'm fine. And I am pretty stern to myself. I am fine. And it like poof, it goes away.
Yep.
So I get to choose.
Okay.
And whether anyone listening or not believes this or not, what about trying it? Just
Yeah.
try.
Yep. Yep.
Just the situations that come up, just go, I get to choose how I'm going to think about this, how I'm going to feel about this.
Or which voice I'm going to let this make the decision for me today.
Yes.
Mhm.
And our feelings are valid, whether they're right or not. Feelings aren't right or wrong, good or bad. They're just
Just
feelings. We
Mhm.
don't make decisions off of feelings.
Oh, really?
Let me say that again. We shouldn't make decisions off of our feelings.
It's not in our best interest to
Yeah.
make decisions
Yeah.
off our feelings.
Feel the feelings, acknowledge them, be present with them, and then let them go. And so, yes, this is not something I tell the second session because then no one would come back. But there has to have been some healing work, some evidence to prove this is true. But I believe it is. I believe that every day I get up, I can choose how I view things.
Well, I agree with you. Once again, it's like preaching to the choir. I know a lot of people put their satisfaction, though, on other people meeting their expectations or meeting their needs.
And you know how I feel about expectations. Our expectations should be about ourselves.
Yes.
And because the truth is, no one is responsible to make you happy. You're
No.
responsible to make yourself happy. I am responsible to make myself happy. No one else is responsible for that but me.
Or I'm responsible for making myself miserable. Either way, I'm still responsible.
Yeah, because you choose.
Because you choose.
Because I don't think there is a person alive who doesn't have negative things going on in their lives.
Of course.
But are there positive things too? I think that's there. It's just where are you putting your focus? And
I think of Charlie Brown, that character in Charlie
yes.
Brown, the cloud.
Uh-huh. Yes. Pigpen.
Oh, Pigpen. Yeah.
Pen.
It
Yes.
looks like a dirty cloud that hangs over him. And
or Eeyore.
oh, Eeyore, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a bad day. No, it's a day. It's just a day. Doesn't mean everything is grand. It's what are you going to do with those experiences?
Well, I think it's obvious when we run into people you've seen that person who is happy every day.
Mhm.
And when you're not having a good day because you've decided not to have a good day, they are especially irritating.
That's true.
And so they've made the decision that they are happier more days than not. But then you've also had people in your life on a daily basis that couldn't find a positive thing to talk about if their life depended on it.
Mhm.
And how people want to stay away from them.
Mhm.
Or they, like you said earlier, attract like energy. And so their whole environment is made up of people of the same decision.
Right. This is a common thing that is said. It's, oh, that's a first world problem.
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay. For those of us living in the first world, you can find something to be grateful for every single day.
True.
I am grateful for electricity. I am grateful for heat. It was a bit cold this week.
Mhm.
I am grateful for thick socks. And just I could complain about the cold. I could complain that my computer is front of glass windows that don't block out a lot of the cold and my feet are cold, or I can get thick socks and go, I'm so grateful I have them. Which
Mhm.
do I choose to focus on?
Mhm.
And so that is how I kind of help clients, start. What can you focus on? So your child is doing 10 things wrong during the day, but what's the one that they're doing good?
Mhm.
Did they turn out the light when they left the bathroom? Did they flush the commode? Hallelujah. It's focus on those. And the more you focus on those little things that are positive, the more you start seeing the positive. And we're going to talk about this later. The more you focus on the negative, the more negative you're going to see.
Mhm.
Which do you choose?
It's whether you do this
Mhm.
or whether you do this.
Mhm. Yeah.
So yeah, I agree. Okay, so we have the power to make the decision
Mhm.
and to choose.
Yeah.
We can choose positive, or we can choose negative, or we can choose somewhere in between if that's what we want to do.
Mhm.
But ultimately, it's our power to use.
We get to choose.
Yep.
We get to choose everything.
Mhm.
We choose how we react or respond to everything.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing that, Kelly. And thank you for liking and subscribing to LifeTalk with Janice and Kelly. And we have more to come on the things that we share with most of our clients.
Yep.
So
All right.
come back and see us again.
Okay. See ya.
Okay. Bye-bye.